Good morning, dear students. Now we see Standard 8, Unit 18, Organization of Life. Now we see the mechanism of breathing. The mechanism of breathing takes place in two ways. One is the inspiration and the other one is expiration. In the inhalation, the muscles of the diaphragm are contract, and in the exhalation, the muscles of the diaphragm are relaxed. In inhalation, the diaphragm goes downward, and in the exhalation, the diaphragm goes upward. The ribs move upwards and downwards in the inhalation, and in the exhalation, the ribs move downwards. In the inhalation, the volume of thoracic cavity increases, but in the exhalation, the volume of thoracic cavity decreases. In the inhalation, air enters the lungs through the nose, but in the exhalation, the air goes out of the lungs through the nose. Now we see the next process, homeostasis. Homeostasis is a property of human biological system where the self-regulating processes tends to maintain the balance for the survival. All the process of integration and coordination of function are mediated by the nervous and a hormonal system. The liver, kidney, brain, autonomic nerve system and the endocrine system help to maintain the homeostasis. Now we see the next process, diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of particle from an area of higher concentration to lower concentration. The overall effect is to equalize concentration throughout the medium. For example, perfume filling a whole room and the movement of a small molecule across a cell membrane. What will happen when an incense stick is lit up in a room? How do we feel? The fragrance spreads over the entire room. The movement of molecules or ions is from the region of higher concentration to of the region of lower concentration. Now we see the next process, osmosis. Osmosis is the movement of a solvent particle across a semi-permeable membrane from a dilute solution into a concentration solution. The movement of liquids in and out of the cells is dependent upon the concentration of the solution surrounding it. There are three types of osmosis, that is isotonic, hypotonic and hypertonic. In isotonic, the concentration of external and internal solution of the organism are the same. In the hypotonic, the external solution concentration is less compared to the concentration of the inner solution of an organism. In hypertonic, the external solution concentration is greater than the concentration of the inner solution of an organism. Next one is osmoregulation. The term osmoregulation was coined by Haber in 1902. Osmoregulation is the process by which an organism regulates the water balance in its body and maintains the homeostasis of the body. Organisms are divided into two types based on osmoregulation. They are osmoconformers and osmoregulators. Now the first one is osmoconformers. These organisms try to maintain the osmolality of their body matching with their surroundings. Most of the invertebrates, marine organisms are osmoconformers. The next one is the osmoregulators. These organisms maintain their internal osmolality, which can be extremely different from that of the surrounding environment through physiological processes. Now we see about the cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is the process by which the organism break down the glucose into a form that the cell can use as energy. The cellular respiration is classified into two types. One is aerobic respiration and the another one is anaerobic respiration. In the aerobic respiration that take place in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. The end product of aerobic respiration are carbon dioxide and water. But the end product of anaerobic respiration is carbon dioxide, ethanol and or lactic acid. Aerobic respiration is common in all higher plants and animals, but anaerobic respiration is common in certain microorganisms and human muscle cells. Now we see the metabolism. Metabolism is the sum of chemical reactions by which the living organisms sustain their life. Metabolism consists of anabolism and catabolism. The term metabolism is commonly used to refer the specifically to breakdown of food and its transformation into energy, cellular products and waste elimination. Now the next product is anabolism. Anabolism is all about building and storing. It supports the growth of new cells, the maintenance of the body tissue, and the storage of energy for use in the future. During anabolism, small molecules are changed into larger and more complex molecules of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And the last topic is catabolism. Catabolism or destructive metabolism is the process that produces the energy required for all activity in the cells. In this process, cells break down large molecules to release energy. Catabolism is responsible for the movement, growth, development, maintenance, and repair of the cells, tissues, and the human body. Thank you, students.